Pinball Land, welcome to episode number 21021 of Flippin' Out Pinball Podcast. My name is Ken Cromwell. With me today, the best co-host in the business, Greg Bone, joins us. What's up, Greg? How are you? Oi, what is that? A little TNT?
Yeah.
AC/DC style. Remember that song?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, remember listening to...
starting off early with the dropping F-bombs. I apologize, people.
You got to get it out of the way. Got to hit the quota of 7.5 is what FanDuel has you at today. Over under of the F-bombs.
We should start some little side parlays for our podcast that people can bet on, like what's going to happen.
It's like a little podcast bingo card, and then maybe you win something. But what's been going on, man?
Anything good? Seconds.
That's right. That's right. Have you been watching the news lately, Greg? It's like a lot of stuff going on. Question for you.
Talking about dropping things.
I wasn't going to go that direction. I was talking more about this Artemis 2, where we're flying around the moon and coming back. Greg, do you believe that we've been to the moon before? Because there's a large group of people that believe that we never went to the moon, or we certainly didn't go when we first announced that we did.
I did not. I did. I did. I fully did. We had actually, do you remember when we had this discussion? We went to a Colts Bears game. Do you remember when you and Zach were in the hotel?
100%.
And we went in depth, and you guys kind of, you kind of had me, there was a lot of information presented, a lot of information I kind of knew, but listening to your all's arguments, it made me think a little bit more. And I honestly, like, fully, we went to the moon. Like, why would we fake that? Why would we do that? But just in light, and I'm going to be completely wrong. I know we're going to have a lot of people. We probably got some people out there that work at NASA and different things that's going to completely destroy us on this. But
we actually do have a friend of ours that works at NASA, so I didn't even think about that.
I know, 100%. And then we know a few that are rocket scientists and everything else.
100% it will rocket scientists, and they can build a hell of a golden tee stand, by the way, the rocket scientists.
So I know that this is going to come back, so I'm saying it very loosely. But like it didn't really have so much doubt in my head until the Artemis mission, because I'm like, okay, so we went to the moon 6 times between 1979 and 1972. But now, because we've got new technology, we need to first circle the moon to just check this technology out.
Check it out.
Yeah,
Greg, we lost the technology to do it.
I know.
Which had to be unfortunate. And then we accidentally taped over all the original footage. So that was, instead of going in there to see all the original footage from the original space missions, you're watching like The Price is Right reruns somehow. It's tough.
Honestly, that's what started to sow some doubt in my head. I'm going to be honest.
I get it.
Are these
so this is
right?
the thing that, right. So I'm watching the new, and I haven't really been, I think normally I would be more excited about something like this. But it's like, from what I've been seeing so far, and we're going to get into pinball here in a second, we've lost half the audience, no problem.
Oh, no, I'm rolling this into pinball. I'm rolling it into pinball.
Okay.
You just win.
Good. But a lot of the footage that I'm seeing now does not look that much more impressive as it did like back in the 60s.
That picture of that fucking moon, I was like, this is the worst photo. And somebody was like, well, their camera technology hasn't really developed that much, and it's a different lighting circumstance. The position of the moon, they took it at nighttime.
I almost feel like I can get better footage of the moon with my Samsung Galaxy like space zoom versus some of this aerial. And again, look, huge feat for astronauts to go up there, whip around the moon, come back. I think the astronauts
incredibly
come
dangerous.
Back down. Yeah, 100%. So a lot of respect. But you know what? There's a little bit of room for, prove me wrong type of a situation. I'm not saying I totally believe that we didn't go, or am I? Or that we didn't go this time. But yeah, because originally I was like, hey, we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon in April.
Yeah.
We didn't go to the moon. We whipped around the moon, which is huge.
I thought we were going to the moon.
That's what I thought originally back when they started talking about this. These astronauts have been further away from Earth than any other human being has ever been. The other thing that I think might be the biggest punk of all time is that this Artemis 2 launched on April 1st, which is commonly known as April Fool's Day.
Interesting.
So are we just getting punked? Is it like the ultimate troll? I don't have any idea. It's fascinating in the conspiracy theory aspect of it. So I'm looking forward to see.
Here's what I want to know. So
Okay. Okay.
we have discussed multiple titles before, like kind of generic things like Medieval Madness, because people kind of love knights and castles and so forth. We know people love aliens. That's why something like Mars Attacks.
Love aliens. Yep.
Yeah, there's particular themes, the generalized themes that draw people. To me, space, 100% one of them. Like,
For sure.
what will we ever see another space themed pinball machine? Because you had Apollo 13, which movie themed pinball machine sold pretty well, but it was a Sega, so it's like whatever, that time frame. But Space Shuttle, I always feel like Space Shuttle had to have done pretty good. I see a lot
Yeah,
of
I
space
think that was
shuttles
that
in
was a big
people's
deal.
homes.
Yep.
Yeah, neat game, and so forth. Like a couple other Comet. I mean, we got
Get
some
some
space.
OVMs, a space station. I mean,
Yes.
space themes have always been widely.
So will we see
widely
a
accepted.
modern one? I think we could use a modern space themed pinball machine. I think it would do well.
You know why we can't do it? Because we lost the technology to make a space themed pinball machine. We don't know where
That
it
was
is.
a glorious setup.
No, I think you could potentially see like a SpaceX pinball machine or a NASA pinball machine. I don't know that you see like an Artemis 2, but I think maybe when we land on the moon, like legitimately next time or for the first time, for the sake of argument.
Yeah.
You put a space station or like a big space station on the moon where you've got rover vehicle. I mean, that's cool. Or, something sci-fi comes up that's space themed. I mean, Star Trek, Star Wars, these are all space themed games. So space has a big and look, when you're little and you're growing up, there's probably very few things that are more fascinating than thinking that you could travel off of the globe and out into outer space, into the unknown. That's just a huge thing. And naturally, I think we're drawn to that.
And even though it's technically like a generic theme, but if you did like a NASA pin or a space theme, I mean, just think of the different. I mean, to me, you've got the door open code wise for a really stellar pin, like just moon missions and different
stellar
missions.
Pin or an interstellar pin?
Interstellar would, but that's so deep of a movie though. That would. Like I'd play that. It would have to be a confusing game. Let's put Dwight's deep code set with all his multipliers on there.
Perfect for that.
For Interstellar, because he would. It would be like, what the fuck is this?
That movie, man. And I don't mean to. We got to come back to that for just a quick second. I just watched that movie recently. I think a year and a half ago. First time I had ever seen it. It impacted me for like 6 months, and there might not be 2 days that have gone by where I haven't thought about something in that movie.
It's a stunning film. I mean,
it's crazy.
Greatest movies ever. If you like that, if you've never seen Contact, watch Contact with Matthew McConaughey and Jodie Foster. You will like that too, because the end of it will blow your mind. Like, it's not as deep as Interstellar, but it is.
Yeah, right.
Like, watch it. It's fantastic.
Interstellar's so fascinating and so gloriously sad and depressing. It's like, I don't even know what's going on. You just want to go hug your family at the end of that movie, and then
you're not wrong.
I don't want to see it. Well, everyone's like, you got to watch it again because you're going to pick up on all this other stuff. And I'm like, I don't know if I could go through that again emotionally. I need to take some time off. So I've been referring friends of mine to watch it. And then they're coming back to me and they're like, dude, that's a crazy movie. That's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
It is unbelievable. It is unbelievable.
Really intense.
I like the space jam we got going right here.
I do too. Like I would take a nice space themed pin, guide the rover. You could do a ton of things with that pinball machine. To me, it's one of those things. It's just like the ideas are almost limitless with what you can do, and you're just progressing towards more exploration. That's kind of the modes. And to me, that would be fun.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, do you think that it's possible that SpaceX could have a pinball machine, because they're doing a lot of things that are technologically superior
advanced,
in my mind?
Yeah.
Or is Elon Musk like a little bit too,
I think, too edgy,
too controversial for? Because I feel like the public's kind of split in half about Elon and his ideologies, and I'm not going to share mine.
I
but
agree
for the
with
sake
you.
of conversation, it's like, I'm just curious.
Yeah, and I just don't think it's an iconic enough brand yet. I mean, it's a very obviously well known. But I think that they need to achieve a little bit more. I don't know. NASA, to me, when you go NASA, it's just one of those things that's so ingrained in our head, like you said, from our youth, and it's American
pop culture almost, like NASA, right? Yeah,
exactly. So I think that if you had a NASA pinball machine, I think it could do well. It would need the code, and it would need to look really good to grab people and bring them in. But I think maybe one of these smaller boutique companies, I think that if you did it right, it could be kind of a neat It could be a neat pin. Toss up. I'm not saying it's a hot seller, but I'm saying it could have its place. I would be interested in it.
You know, one of the space-themed moments that I appreciate so much in pinball, and it's not even a space-themed game, but it's on Elton John, when you start the Rocket Man multi-ball, and that
Mhm.
machine does that countdown, and the whole machine explodes in the orange and the thrusters, and it just launches. Oh, man, it's such a good feeling. Just to have a rocket in a game that does something
Yeah.
like that would be killer.
Oh, I think
I
so
mean, that's
too,
that's
man.
pinball moments, right? Like, that's what we talk about. Elicit
Dude,
emotion.
do you know
Show
how
your friend,
awesome
"Hey,
it
look at
would
this."
be if you had a fucking rocket in the game? Like, just even if it's the size of, like, the dildo rocket in Bond.
Like James Bond?
Like, yeah, can you imagine,
I've
okay,
not
let's
heard of
say
it
there's a
referred
couple
to as
spots.
that. That's appalling.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? It's a family show, Greg. And you're still at only one F-bomb, I think. We got
Oh, I've had like
It's a
3 or
but
4 already.
you got to get a couple in at the end
It's
there,
the
right?
coffee, man. I put one too many scoops in this morning.
One too many
It's
scoops.
got me. But can you imagine having that rocket? You've got 2 spots on that rocket. The entire playfield goes dim, and then you've got some circulating LEDs underneath that rocket that's glowing orange and shit. And then you hear this, and then all of a sudden your
The
fucking
shaker.
shaker motor, takes off, and your fucking pin is just shaking.
The
and then the
under
rocket's
cabinet glow is like
Yes!
flashing. You're like,
Yes!
holy smokes. Yeah.
And then LEDs around that, like, spread out. You know what I'm saying? Like, then LEDs
Yeah.
illuminate around on other plastics around it, so it's like gradually like flared out. Dude, that's like you said, it's a moment.
That's huge, man. Like I got a little bit of pinball chills when you were
I
kind
did
of
too,
explaining
like-
that to me, because I can envision that.
Yes.
And that's something where it's like, for that moment alone, like, I want to keep a machine like that in my collection for a little
Yes.
bit. You know what I mean?
It's so impressive. And it's one of those things, too, we're always talking about toys and mechs. We want this complicated shit. That is not complicated. That is the easiest thing in the world. I mean,
Sure.
back to Dwight Sullivan. I mean, that's what he did with, like, to me, Lightsaber Duel and Boba Fett in Star Wars. Like, dude, he created moments with just lighting that was
Yeah.
insane. It didn't require special mechs or anything. And that's what you could do with this. Like, nothing over the top special, nothing expensive. It's just utilizing an idea and implementing it. That's awesome.
I think that, and again, not everybody's going to agree with me, and probably most won't agree with me, but I would almost prefer like a really sound light show versus a mech that's limited in nature that can only do the repetitive thing over and over and over again. Because I
can
think you
agree
can
with that.
create so many different moments, and it's never really the same over and over because you can
Yeah.
code it differently.
And
And
I
visually,
think so-
like, I've always been a light show guy.
Yeah. Well, and I think sometimes people get caught up when they're doing light shows in games just for beauty,
Mhm.
not effect, beauty.
Like a tracked mode almost. It's like,
Yeah.
this is what we're capable of doing, but when you have to put choreography behind the lights,
Yeah.
time them appropriately to the moments. See,
Yeah.
that's the other thing, right? If you're a pinball programmer or you're somebody that's writing code, it's one thing to write rules. And it's
Yeah.
one thing to make it make sense when the ball is going through the
Mhm.
play field and scoring and starting modes. But now a whole nother element is running that symphony of how these light shows come together with the story. That's almost a different talent to me,
It is very much.
right?
Very much.
Because in Hollywood, the director's not necessary, and you would know this better than I would, but the director's kind of overseeing everything. But he's not a specialist in every single thing, right? That's why you've got people that come in to assist on a movie set.
But
And
it's
it's
kind of
lighting and it's sound and it's
yes.
right.
But I mean, it's sort of the idea of the director of what he sees, that envisionment. And that's what was it you and I that talked about this, or early on when we first started this podcast, about having someone that was like an artistic director at these pinball companies that
Yeah, I think we did have that conversation. Yes.
that had these
Unique.
ideas.
Great point.
That's where
Yep.
something like that would come in.
Yes. Even with sound, right? You've got an
Yes.
audio engineer and he's getting all the sounds ready, but they still have to play nicely with the lighting, with the
Yes.
shots, with the rules, with the code.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if why that's not a bigger. And I'm not saying that the existing formula is not doing a good job, but I think in moments it could be done a little bit better.
Well, because we utilize, and I don't think it's necessarily cost effectiveness, but I think that we allow the designers and the coders to be the designers and the coders of the entire pinball machine. It's like their baby. So it's their ideas for the code and rules. It's their
I agree
ideas
with
for
you.
what a light show should be or so forth. But just because they're very good, and like you said, I'm not taking anything away because we've got really great games coming out and really detailed games with some of this stuff. This beautiful and got some good moments. But sometimes, like if you had that outside direction that somebody's job was literally just to be that creative personality, you're not just pigeonholing, because you could be a very good pinball designer, but that doesn't mean you've got the ideas to implement cool moments and to do
Yep.
things. You know what I'm saying? That's why not everyone can direct film. That's why not everybody can direct TV or be a choreographer, because those are the people that understand and have a different flair and a different portion of their brain firing, for those creative moments, you know, e- and they allow the dancers or the actors who specialize in their craft, to me, who are the pinball designers, the coders, the engineers, to flourish in their job, but they're
Yeah.
they're they're the storyboarders. I think that we could I still think pinball could utilize something like
Well,
that,
and
like
that's
a
the thing,
fresh
right? You
mind.
can't tell me, and I'm not, again, not singling anybody out by any means, because I don't think that there's a consistent basis in which I could be critical with any one person that's in the industry making games.
No.
But if I am a pinball designer and my focus is shots and scoring,
Mhm.
I have a hard time believing that what that person is approach or that person's approach to the game isn't going to line up with what I'm looking for out of the game when it comes to that
Yes,
kind of
that's the
choreography, and,
issue.
right? You know what I mean? Same thing
Mhm.
with pinball programming. I'm rule based. This
Yep.
is just in general, right? I'm rule based, scoring based, stacking multipliers, and this. But do I know what a pinball moment is for somebody? Because if I'm more scoring driven,
And you
excuse me,
could be
Greg.
a miraculous coder. Fantastic
If
coder.
I'm more, yeah, if I'm just into the rules and I'm more
Yeah,
scoring driven, like a pinball moment isn't anything that's even on my radar. I don't care
yeah.
about that as
Your
much.
brain just
Like,
doesn't work like that because you don't care about it. You don't think
you
about it.
don't, and that's okay, because again, there's a lot of people that are buying games and aren't going to care about that too. But I do care about that, because guess what? I don't really care about scoring that much. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
light the game up. I'm not trying to GC everything. GC meaning Grand Champ. I am looking to explore the modes. I am looking to see the new light shows. I'm looking to see new content that's coming up on the LCD screen. I'm looking to hear new audio, new sounds. Like, I'm in it more like just a different experience of pinball is what I'm looking at. And if I'm doing all that, my scoring should be okay. But I'm not sitting down and being like, all right, how am I going to exploit this multiplier? So, with the exception of Star Wars, when I get into the asteroid field, I want to get that 40 times multiplier, and just
Yes.
blow the whole game up. But
Yeah.
that's the only instance of scoring that, like, I'm down with that. So, and that's where I'm like, I almost think that every single company should have somebody in there that is that, like you said, bringing that
Yeah.
all together and can have a fresh take from the outside. Maybe somebody that's not into scoring, that's not into
Yes.
design, just into
Yeah.
pinball. Like, how is this impacting me as somebody that's stepping up to a game? What emotion am I feeling
Yeah.
playing this game? What is it
Yep.
presenting to me?
And they don't have to dictate, because I understand it's like competing and conflicting points of interest. Like you kind of brought up before, like, you have a designer. It's going to be hard for them to relinquish part of what they envision a game being and allow somebody else to come in and dictate and put in these particular moments. But I think that if you train your personnel and your staff to work that away, I think it would be very beneficial, and you could drop the egos and drop the
Yeah.
worry about that. Because the thing is too, is not every title that is brought in, you're going to have that same vision. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be something that you're not so passionate about. So you're naturally going to make a good game, but not a really great, you know what I'm saying? Whereas you might leave out some of those ideas just because you don't care about it. Whereas if you got somebody and that's their job, they're probably going to be pretty enthusiastic about cool moments in general and creating stuff no matter what the theme is. Some
Well,
are obviously going to lend their self better than others, but you see what I'm saying?
I do, and a lot of it is time. Like, these guys that are writing code and
Yes.
engineers and the designer. Does he have time to try to choreograph all this in the background? I don't know. I would like to see somebody professionally. That's what they do. They come to a
Yeah.
pinball company and that's their job. Make it all make sense, because there are, and I'm not going to call out any games right now. Maybe I will down the road, but there's a lot of games that I like, but I can't identify where it's like, man, this game's got a lot of great moments. Maybe it has
Mhm.
one. You know what I
And
mean?
moments create staying power to me. I think it's beneficial to pinball
Yes.
manufacturers to do so, because then you've got games that stay in homes longer because, like you said, like I don't keep a game because I want to beat my high score. Like,
Right.
I keep a game because I want to, it's like destroy the ring and Lord of the
Oh,
Rings.
yeah,
Like,
Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
I want to get to something so I feel a moment, Power Down and Johnny Mnemonic. That's one of the coolest moments, I think, in pinball. So simplistic, but still cool and great when you reach it. So it's like, I'm wanting to achieve those moments and I'm wanting to see more of those moments. That's
Same.
what keeps me driving, not just running through the game or even get to the wizard mode and experience the wizard mode. I need the wizard mode. I need some of those modes in between there that I'm achieving. I want them to feel good when I get there, not just be, oh yeah, I did that. Like, I want them to be exciting, so it drives me to get
Yes.
there again.
If I'm looking at the screen and I see a high score, or I'm looking at the screen and something amazing happens, like when I hit that high score, instead of just like a knock, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, give me something where it's like, man, that's maybe now I am scoring driven because the machine's going to do something that's way different than it ever does during a high score. Just simple things like that. Again,
Yeah.
not trying to be critical here, but on a slow news week, we talked about lunar landings, and I do like that. I do like that.
It's Greg's Tactics. So I always like to, it's been a while since I gave you guys a good tip, and I like to keep things modern if there's anything that I've seen. And if you guys own a Pokemon, you will have seen some of the current issues with that left orbit, that ball guide on there. And I've actually seen this ball guide issue go both ways. And to me, it seems like on the LEs that the ball guide is potentially on some of the games driving the ball straight down the middle. So it's setting away from the post and bent to, out to the right a little too far. On the premiums, it's just the direct opposite. That ball guide is shoved in just a little too much, and you typically will get a feed down to the top of the slings. If you're experiencing either one of those, primarily the premium is probably going to where you're going to have that issue of it bouncing off of that top sling there. All you have to do is adjust that ball guide. There's two screws that hold that ball guide, and on the front screw on the guide itself and the leg that holds it on there, there's actually a nice little slot in there that makes that adjustable. So to access that, you just need to remove the entire ramp, or I have found that you can remove there's a center screw that goes into a post that holds the center of the ramp. Then unscrew the two screws that go into the wire form down by the end lane, and it'll give you typically enough room, just be careful, don't snap your ramp, to bend that ramp slightly out of the way. And then there are three nuts that hold the plastic on above that ball guide. Just remove those. It's a tight squeeze to get in there, but you can manipulate those enough without, removing everything entirely. Just loosen that screw, adjust that ball guide inwards or outwards, and then tighten that screw back down, and you guys are good to go. Nothing to freak out about or anything like that. Simple, easy fix, typically take you 5 to 10 minutes.
That's amazing, because early on it seemed like people were drilling holes into their play fields and moving stuff around. So you're saying that this can be adjusted without getting in there and
I think
drilling.
in some of those they were maybe extreme situations on some of those first games that went out to where that it didn't allow enough adjustment over closer to that post. But that has seemed to quiet down a little bit. I think it's mainly coming down to these premiums. With it bouncing off the top of that sling, and that is definitely an easy adjustment that you can make. And if for some reason in that direction you're still not getting the appropriate feed that you need to because you ran out of room on being able to adjust that screw, just like any ball guide, this happens all the time, don't freak out. Get you a washcloth, a microfiber towel, put around the end of some pliers, and then slightly bend the end of that ball guide out just slightly there.
Yeah.
And you do have to be careful because, you will have some, your ball can hit the end of that. There's no protector or anything on the end of that ball guide. So, I mean, you do risk kind of banging the edge of that with your balls, but I mean, that happens on some games too. Just be wary. I'm not giving you bad advice because I know somebody will fire out and be like, Greg, you extend that out too far. Now there's nothing protecting that.
Right.
I'm aware.
Right.
I'm aware. And you don't need it to feed all the way to like perfectly to the flipper. Just adjust it out to get it off the top of that sling so you got some ball control.
Yeah, very, very good. I would assume the newer builds now that are coming off the line that are getting delivered in, May? I'm sure that adjustment is going to be on those games. At that point, it's a known, or at least it was repetitive enough for people to be like, all right, hey, we're going to check for this.
Yes, I would think so.
Perfect, man. That is this week's Greg's Tech Tips. Greg, I think we're going to make this a little digestible version of Flipping Out Pinball Podcast. We got some news on the back end here, just some general updates and information for Flipping Out Pinball in general. And you can go to flippingoutpinball.com today, pick up your next new game, whether that's pinball, arcade, whatever floats your boat. We want to help you to get that game room in a little bit better of a spot. But in April, Godzilla Premium and Pros are now shipping. So if you've been waiting for that time, now's the time to jump in on that. Some dealers are still waiting for Pokemon LEs. There's a delay due to parts that's happening across the board. Also in April, Jaws Pro and Premium, Jurassic Park Pro, King Kong Pro and Premium, and the remainder of the first run Pokemon Pros are in this month. If you're buying a Pokemon today, Pro and Premium, you're looking at a May delivery. And then May and June from American Pinball, you can expect delivery on the Houdini 100s. We didn't talk about this, but on American Pinball, they had the Houdini 100, but they're doing another run of Galactic Tank Force, 150 units. They're going to be implementing some improved sculpts in Topper, I think, from Melvin Williams. Be on the lookout for that. We should have some more information. I don't really have a lot of time on Galactic Tank Force. I played it a couple times. I liked the game. My first impression was that it looked cool. Again,
he said it's better than what,
right?
Yeah. He said better than what people give it credit for.
Yeah, so I'll be curious to see what the upgrades consist of with that. Also, May and June, we've got the second Stern Cornerstone that's expected. We don't know what it is. It's not been confirmed, but guess what? We've got you covered with the rumored interest list. You can contact me, Ken, at flipthenouttpinball.com. You can say, hey, Ken, can you put me on the list for so-and-so? Let me know what it is. Now, it's not a vague list. You can't go on the next Stern title list. But if you think you have an idea of what you'd like it to be, let me know and I'll put you on the list.
And I will tell you this. Like, I really hope the rumors are true that it's Transformers.
Transformers.
I can't tell you why. Like, that I'm excited for it to be that. Like, I really can't. I mean, it's nostalgic. When I was really young, Transformers was that hit then. Then you kind of grow out of Transformers. But like, I still just, I don't know. There's something so nostalgic about it. And Transformers is still so badass, man. Like, I really hope that it's Transformers.
I remember coming home from school watching Transformers cartoons. Yeah. Like, I didn't have a lot of Transformers. My younger brothers had Transformers.
They were expensive. That was
they were very expensive.
It was kind of a rich kid's toy, like upper middle class toy. I feel in a sense, a weird way.
Well, maybe
I was just so poor.
You had to settle for GoBots because you're like, these things are smaller, and it's like they're like the poor man's Transformers. Yeah. So it's like, I'll take some GoBots.
My extent was the transforming freaking Happy Meal toys that were like the dinosaurs that were like a chicken nugget. That was the extent of my Transformers.
That's hilarious, man. But Transformers more than meets the eye. I was more into He-Man, Masters of the Universe. I think at the time you could get those. Thundercats were big, but you can get a He-Man figure for like $5 or $6 when they originally were coming out, and it was I loved it, man. It was good.
G.I. Joes. I would still take a G.I. Joe pin. I would still really like that. That would probably be one of my top. Going with those 80s cartoons would be G.I. Joe. Just because it was so huge. That universe, that toy line had to have been the most spectacular toy line in all of existence, because I mean, there was so many accessories. I remember buying like an accessory pack with like dive equipment in it and everything. So you could put like a little respirator on your people and like flippers that went on the bottom of their feet. So you could turn any of your G.I. Joes into like a diver.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it's insane, dude. Everything,
you're just
all the
swimming
vehicles
in the toilet with the brown sharks.
Yeah. Like, dude, rappelling gear. I mean, there was so much that went with G.I. Joes that like it was just such an extreme toy line that I don't think you really hear people talk about, or especially when it comes to nostalgia. So, man, dude, I would love that. That would be
when
cool.
I was growing up, like it was myself, my parents, my two brothers. We lived in like an 1,100 square foot house, real humble little neighborhood. Well, one year, my parents, like, I don't know how they pulled it off. They get my brother the G.I. Joe aircraft carrier thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's like 6-7 feet long. It took up literally our whole living room. It was like this craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's spectacular. Spectacular.
Yeah, that's nuts. Pretty big. All right. Harry Potter arcade and CEs are now back in stock. So if you go to flippingoutpinball.com, you can check out and get it in the cart, get it delivered. Delivery's taking 2 to 4 days on average from the time that you check out. Yeah, checking in with Barrels of Fun. We've got Dune and Winchesters. They continue to kind of trickle out. No clear timeline. So if you have either on order, just hang tight. If we get any major update as far as what's going on with delivery of those games. We'll pass it along. But right now, they're coming out. So no worries. Just got to be a little bit more patient than you've already been at this point. At Chicago Gaming Company, the Medieval Madness Merlin editions, they're already on the line and they're starting to ship. So every month, those should be shipping from us all the way through the fall. So if you're looking for that Merlin edition, now's the time to jump in. Flippingoutpinball.com. I was talking to Zach earlier this morning and I said, hey, we're recording the podcast. Do you by any chance want to offer up a little deal of the week? I said, we would be happy to offer a deal of the week on behalf of Flippin' Out Pinball. And Zach said, absolutely. So this is the deal of the week, Greg. You ready? This is for Flippin' Out Pinball podcast listeners. You would have no way of knowing about this unless you're listening to the podcast. So congratulations and thank you. Used Uncanny X-Men Pro. Okay, we currently have it listed at $54.99. $5,499. The deal of the week. $51.99. So just for listening,
plus shipping,
you save a couple $100 plus shipping.
That's solid for that game, man.
That's a good game, man.
It is a good
You're
game.
right at 5 Gs on that game.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah. That's good. It's hard to get anything.
Have it. Yeah. So if you'd like to take advantage, because that's a used game, pre-owned game, great condition, you can email Ken or Greg at flippingoutpinball.com. We'll write you up and get the game out next day. So it's pretty good. I wanted to take a moment, as always, and thank our Patreon members at patreon.com/flippingoutpinballpodcast. If you'd like to get involved with the show in a little bit more of a special way, you can go to Patreon, search Flippin' Out Pinball Podcast. We've got a lot of bonus content up, some bonus episodes that were never aired publicly, which are fun. Greg's throwing out his solo session. His latest solo session was about Dungeon Crawler Carl. And his newfound appreciation. Solo sessions will be increasing here over the next few weeks. Also would encourage you to go over to youtube.com because Greg's favorite thing to do is video, and that's going to be coming out pretty soon. We have some video podcasts, so if you don't mind going over there and subscribing, it's free. You'll just be notified when a new episode airs. But other than that, Mr. Bone, I think we're about wrapped up. I don't know. Is there anything else that you want to vent about, get off your chest, discuss?
No, I think that was about it.
Question.
I enjoyed the space talk.
I do too.
Good stuff.
I'm curious about the comments on our space commentary.
I'm just
see
waiting
where it goes. And it should be fun in our next after hours over at Patreon when we go live with the our Patreon subscribers. Because I would like to get their input on space.
I would too. Yeah. I'd like
and
to have
if it is the final frontier. Or if we're on a flat earth stuck under a firmament. Who knows?
That I do not believe in. I will give you that. I'm not a flat earther.
I'll tell you what, I'm not either, but there's a lot of things that I didn't believe in 10 years ago that I am a believer in now. Like I almost feel like I lost a lot of my innocence and youth based on terrible information that I was given. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. This is episode 21 of Flippin' Out Pinball Podcast. For Greg Bone, I'm Ken Cromwell. Don't forget to take some time out of your day and play some pinball. So long, everybody. You good?
Yeah, I like that.